There's a lot of truth to that statement. Work until expensive becomes cheap. There's dreams that we have and things we want to do, but we got to start somewhere. We got to start thinking that we are worthy of those, thinking that we can accomplish those. Just like this. If your dreams don't scare you, they're not big enough. But once you do it, once you upgrade your life, you never turn back. You constantly keep pushing new limits, and that's exactly what you should do. Don't ever fall victim to the arrival syndrome, and don't ever let people allow you to forget your dreams. Push on and create the life you want. I want you to think about all the things that you've done in your life, specifically starting with things you buy. Let's start with cars. Back when you first started driving, you bought a car based on what you could afford, or maybe your parents helped you buy a car. And then from there, you've been on a journey of upgrading your cars, haven't you? You've either bought new cars, leased nicer cars, found cars you love, chased your dream car, but you haven't gone backwards in most cases. What I'm trying to say is you started with a car that just solved the problem for you, which was getting from point A to point B. And from then, you've upgraded each time. And each time you've upgraded, your mind has figured out a way to afford that upgrade. Your payments may have gone up on the cars that you've been buying, but you've found a way to pay those payments. Because once you upgrade things in your life, we're starting with a car, you find a way to make that happen. And you think that it's just luck. No, it's not. There's an old statement that says, whatever you ask of life, life will give it to you. But there are some negative things that can stop that. Other people telling you shouldn't have the nice car. Other people saying you should just be content. Other people ruining your dreams because they've never lived theirs. They've never had the nicer car. But let's move past cars. Let's talk about airplanes. This is an easy one. And Steve Harvey did a really cool thing on this. He talked about first class. How many of you have ever flown first class? You ever get on a plane and fly first class? It's a nice thing, right? You sit down in the wider seats, you kind of kick back. Some of them actually have the fold out. So you're sitting in a recliner. The very first time I flew first class, it wasn't because I bought a first class seat. I didn't think I deserved that. I didn't think it was worth paying that upgrade, or I just didn't think I had enough money. And for some reason, I was on a connecting flight, and all of a sudden my name pops up on the board, upgraded. And I'm like, oh, what's this upgraded thing? So I walk over to the little booth there and I say, my name's on that as an upgrade. And she says, oh, here, give me your ticket. And she hands me back a first class ticket. I'll never forget that moment. I felt like I won the lottery. And I got on that plane and I sat down in that nice, wide, comfortable chair. And I started to think about myself. I started thinking, boy, I could do this. I really like this. And then they came by and they gave me that drink. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. And then they ask, would you like another before that one's even done? And then when you take off and you're in the air, you're the first ones to get served. They give you the menus. It makes you feel really special. And then all of a sudden you land and the flight's over. But that memory, that experience doesn't end. Now all of a sudden your mind knows what that's like. So the next time you book a flight, you're thinking, boy, should I upgrade? Am I going to get lucky again? Or are they going to upgrade me? And then all of a sudden they don't. You go back to the back of the plane. You're sitting in the middle of, the three seats, and you're right in the middle of two very large people. And you're just like this. And you're just like, boy, this sucks. I should have upgraded. You should have, but you allowed yourself to be back where you were. You didn't allow yourself to upgrade your life. I'm just talking about first class seats. Yes, do they cost more? Yes. But if you started to figure out how you could afford to fly first class every single time, the same way you figured out how to upgrade your car every time, even though that payment seemed like it was a lot. Oh my God, I don't know if I can afford this payment. But then all of a sudden, you're affording the payment. Then all of a sudden, that payment doesn't seem so bad. So the next time you upgrade the car, it's a little bit more. You go from a $300 payment to now maybe a $500 payment, and then a $600 payment. And every time, those small little escalations don't seem so bad after you're doing them. And this goes all the way down. Let's talk about clothing. I want you to think about a nice pair of shoes. You bought a nice pair of shoes and you put them on and you're like, wow, these are nice. And then all of a sudden, after those shoes wear out, did you downgrade? Did you go to a different brand? Did you go to a lesser shoe just because, oh, I'm not worthy of those nice, comfortable shoes that make my feet feel better, that probably help my posture? No, you continue to buy the nice shoes. You don't go backwards. When you buy a nice shirt or a nice suit or a nice dress and how it makes you feel, do you go backwards? No, you find a way to have that nice dress, that nice suit, that nice shirt again when that one wears out. You see, this is the law of attraction. This is what they're always talking about. A lot of people want to say, oh, that's foo-foo. Oh, that's not real. Oh, it's very real. Matter of fact, I can tell you in my life, it's been real my whole life. I've had dreams and I've had a lot of people stand in my way saying, you shouldn't do that. Why would you do that? That's a scam. This isn't right. Can't you just be happy? Can't you just be content? Why do people try to say we're not worthy of this, or we shouldn't have that, or that's not going to work for us? How do they know? Do they know just because they haven't succeeded at it? Do they know just because they don't have that nice car? Do they know because they don't have that nice suit, that nice dress, those nice sneakers? So all of a sudden, just because they don't have it, they think you shouldn't have it? We conform to other people's ideologies, and that's what stops the law of attraction. That's what stops the universe and life from providing you all the things that you want. I'm not saying that this happens overnight. You don't just think about it and all of a sudden it happens. Your mind will help you figure it out if you allow it to. It's not luck, folks. It's not by chance that, things just lined up. It's the law of attraction. You allowed it to happen. And because of that, you got used to those payments. And then all of a sudden, those payments weren't so much. This happens with everything. You upgrade houses, you upgrade clothing, you upgrade your shoes, you upgrade your living experiences. And now that comes back to the first class seat. Why didn't you upgrade? What's standing in your way? Do you feel like you don't deserve it? Did someone tell you you shouldn't spend the extra money? What a waste to sit in first class. That's a waste of money. You could do something better with that. Life will give you anything if you just ask. Stop standing in your way of your dreams. Stop standing in the way of you getting the things you want. I know this seems difficult to articulate in your mind, but I want you to start with the bare basics of where you were and where you're at today and the different things you've upgraded. And I want you to think about the cost for those upgrades. Again, we've talked about a lot of things: cars and suits and dresses and shoes and first class seats. Every one of those made you feel better, made you feel more accomplished, made you feel more successful, made you feel more grateful. Key word, gratitude. Every time you've upgraded your life, you felt grateful. Maybe you even got smart and you did this. You got down on your knee and you put your hands together and you said, thank you, God, for this day. Thank you, God, for the things you've given me. Now, I don't know your religion, but all of us have someone to be thankful to. All of us have something to be grateful for. And all of us should constantly thank God or whoever you want to thank. Maybe it's your mother. Maybe it's your best friend. Maybe it's a complete stranger that allowed you to move in front of them in line. Maybe it's a complete stranger that paid for your Starbucks in the line. How many of you have ever had the person in front of you buy your coffee? How did that make you feel? Weren't you grateful for that person? And they pull away and you almost want to get out of your car and run over and knock on their window and say, thank you so much. That was so kind. Start living your life like that. Stop living your life thinking you don't deserve things, thinking that you shouldn't have things, and stop living your life conforming to other people's ideologies. It's sick how much we allow other people's ideas, other people's failures, other people's crashed and failed dreams dictate our place in life. We allow too many people's failures, their mindsets, and their negativity to affect our successes, our gratitude in our lives. We need to stop conforming and we need to start creating. You can create whatever life you want, good, bad, or indifferent. You're in control. The cavalry's not coming this time, so nobody's going to do it for you. And if you rely on somebody else to provide the life you want or do something for you, guess what? It's not going to be the life you want to live. When you look for handouts and you sit back and you just wait for people to give you things, wait for people to take care of your problems, you're not living your life. You're living somebody else's. Nothing in life is free. When you take something, you owe something. And don't think for 1 second, when you take a handout, there's not someone on the other side of that waiting for something in return. Think about that. We're not going to talk too deep about that, but I want you to think about all the times you've taken a handout, all the times you've sat back and waited for someone else to do what you could have done, for someone else to do and give you the things that you could accomplish yourself. What happened next? Did your life upgrade? Did things get better in your life? No, they probably got worse or stayed exactly the same. This is how people get stuck. This is why people are stuck in the financial hamster wheel, because everybody's sitting there waiting for someone else to do what they can do themselves. Everybody's sitting there waiting for someone to tell them how to live their life. Stop. Start creating the life you want. Start dreaming of the things you want. Start making the things you want happen. Just try it in small little steps. Upgrade little things in your life. And even though it might seem really hard now, that extra $100 a month or $50 a month, that extra $20 you spent on those sneakers, that extra $100 you spent on that dress or that suit seems like, oh my God, I can't afford this. But then you do. And then all of a sudden, the next time you do it, you're like, well, that was no problem. That didn't affect me. I remember the first time I bought a pair of expensive socks. I went into a really expensive suit store and I needed socks bad. And I went over and the only ones they had were like $30. I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm paying $30 for a pair of socks, but I put them on my feet and I'm like, oh, wow, these are comfortable. And you know what I did? I kept thinking about that whole day. I kept thinking, wow, I can't believe I spent $30. And then after that, it wasn't a big deal. And I started thinking, wow, I should try the $50 socks. I should try the $100 socks. If those were that nice and they were that high quality and they made my feet feel that good, what's the next level? Folks, I got to ask you, what's the next level of your life feel like? What does it look like? Because if you don't know, you're never going to have it. You got to start dreaming bigger. Your dreams should scare you. They shouldn't be comfortable. Life isn't comfortable. Your dreams aren't comfortable. They never will be. Go after them. And when you start climbing up that ladder, when you start upgrading your life, you're going to realize how easy they are, because anything you ask of life, life will gladly provide. So go out there and create whatever life you want. Upgrade your life. Stop conforming to other people's failed dreams and watch how fast things change for you.